Denver police say Coban Porter, the younger brother of Nugget star Michael Porter Jr., appeared to be driving drunk when he hit and killed a woman early yesterday morning. Coban Porter is a sophomore on the DU men's basketball team.
He was arrested at the scene right near the DU campus. And 9 News Crime and Justice reporter Matt Jablow has the latest details.
A line of twisted and shattered car parts litters the road near the intersection of Bucktail and University Boulevards in South Denver. Early Sunday morning,
it was just before 2 a.m.
Denver police say Coban Porter, the 21-year-old brother of Nugget star Michael Porter Jr., ran a red light going about 50 miles an hour and slammed into another car right near the DU campus.
What we were able to learn through the evidence is that a Ford Edge was being operated eastbound on Bucktail and struck broadside, so T-bone as we have called it in the past, a Tesla that was northbound on University. Right in the intersection.
The driver of the Tesla, 42-year-old Katharina Rothman, was killed. The passenger, a man in his 40s, was seriously injured. Coban Porter, meanwhile, is a 21-year-old sophomore at DU, where he plays on the men's basketball team, though he's been out this year with a knee injury. According to the arrest affidavit, Porter admitted to drinking alcohol that night, had bloodshot eyes, and was slurring his speech when talking to officers. He was arrested at the scene, but bonded out of jail on Sunday afternoon.
We have evidence through the years of intoxicated drivers who make bad decisions behind the wheel of a car, and it ends up tragically. And lives are changed in a moment's notice.
According to the arrest affidavit, Porter refused to take a field sobriety test and also refused to give blood. Prosecutors later authorized a blood draw without his consent. The results are expected back in a few weeks. Tom?
Well, sadly, Matt, we hear these stories regularly, and it's when we, attach the name of someone we know to it that it seems to hit home. But you think of these two cars colliding in the middle of the night and all these lives suddenly thrown up in the air.
No question. It happens way too often. Lives lost and lives ruined.
All right, Matt. Thanks for the update.
Colorado hit a horrible milestone last year, marking the most road deaths this state has seen in nearly 42 years. CDOT says 745 people died in crashes in Colorado in 2022, a number that could continue to grow as data is still being reported. That's the most since 1981, when 756 people died. Previously, the population of the state has grown a lot since then, obviously, but the reason many state leaders are sounding an alarm about that is the rate of deadly crashes per vehicle miles traveled is increasing, and that has been that for about a decade. Deaths in drunk and drugged driving cases are up. Distracted driving and speeding, huge problems as well. The head of the state patrol says people are taking too many chances.
We're seeing folks taking more chances, driving at higher speeds, driving more recklessly. And I'm certainly not a sociologist by any sense of the imagination, but I think we see this type of behaviors becoming increasingly pervasive around our society.
Colonel Matthew Packard pledged to make his troopers more visible on the roadways, especially where crashes are more prevalent. Last year, Colorado's lawmakers tried to strengthen the state's distracted driving laws, but a bill fell short in the State House.
Well, January day in Colorado, if you were inside looking outside, you'd say, oh, it's brisk. If you're outside, it's cold.
Brisk and cold, that's a good description.
Yeah, if you're inside, oh, it looks brisk out there. But if you're actually out there going, hey, it's cold. Kathy, we're going to be cold for a little while.
Yeah, I know. It's January. We should be used to this, right? But this is really unusual. You guys, we've had 60-degree days in January before. Anybody remember that? I don't.
Like years ago.
Right, so many years ago. We really need that to be part of our short-term forecast, Cam, because people are over the cold and the snow. The people that I've been talking to out there still trying to chip off that ice off their sidewalks and driveways. Well, today the sun came out after a morning of cloud cover and flurry. So you look now off to the west, and some areas are not seeing the sun at all. Up and down the Front Range, though, will take that sunshine and some decent travel as well on the I-25 corridor tonight. So that's one piece of good news for you. We have a very active, what I'm calling a progressive weather pattern. The winds aloft are coming in out of the northwest and bringing little pieces of energy right into Colorado. We have a chance for more flurries tomorrow and a mix of clouds and sunshine. So no big warming trends in the short term. We should be in the mid-40s this time of year. We're currently 24 degrees in Denver. Now, we did manage mid-30s downtown today, and we'll thank the sun for that. that and a little bit of a wind shift. The winds are pretty light right now, and we're watching a center circulation to the south of us that's generating some snow showers into the southern mountains. This system, easy for me to say, this system will stay south and track off toward the east, and when it taps into that Gulf moisture, it's going to become a huge storm once it moves east of Colorado over the next 24 to 48 hours. Diminishing snow showers across the state will take that. We still have a fair amount of cloud cover expected overnight tonight and tomorrow, and upstream a little more moisture. So a light snow shower, a few flurries possible again tomorrow. So this is just part of that cool, unsettled weather pattern that will be with us for the majority of the upcoming week. So coming up in Maine weather, we're going to talk about the timing of the next storm, how much snow to expect here, how much snow to expect in the high country, and then further out, I do think we're going to get 40s. Beyond that, you guys, there's another Arctic cold front looming.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I did not hear that. I did not hear that.
As I often say this time of year,
Yep.
let's wrap up January.
Yeah, winter is hanging
Put a bow on it.
Oh, my goodness.
We can't get to April soon enough.
Moving on.
I know.
Kathy, we'll see you in just a bit. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Well, today Urban Peak broke ground on its new center for young people experiencing homelessness.
The mothership will provide housing and a series of other resources, all in the same building. The building will have case management officers, medical and mental health care, and education and employment services. It will also have some low-income apartments available. People between 15 and 24 years old experiencing homelessness can use the facility and resources once it's open. Urban Peak's leaders say they're a group often left out when it comes to allocating resources.
I think we would all be blind to not recognize the incredible destruction and devastating impact for people experiencing homelessness that we see on the streets. But I always want to remind folks that we are not just talking about who you see. We are talking about a population of people that are sleeping on couches or in hotels or are unstably housed.
The mothership is on the site of Urban Peak's old youth shelter. Once it's done, it's going to have 136 beds available. Denver is contributing nearly $17 million to the $37 million project through the city's Rise Denver Bond program.
It'll likely take place behind closed doors, but this could be a pretty big week here in Broncos country. The first round of head coaching interviews wrapped up on Friday. Now the Broncos CEO Greg Penner is expected to select and start meeting with the finalists sometime this week. Our Broncos insider Mike Kliss reports the search, though, is being described as still wide open. Sources say that Greg Penner entered the search with an open mind and on the search has found several strong candidates. Despite Sean Payton being the most prominent name, Mike reports that Penner has not yet zeroed in on any one candidate. Of course, after the failure that was the hire of Nathaniel Hackett, Penner is said to be trusting the process this time around.
The Broncos just want to get back to the playoffs, which is where 8 other teams found themselves competing over the weekend. So many folks watching the Buffalo Bills game against the Cincinnati Bengals.
This is
especially excited to see safety Demar Hamlin was at the game, watching from a suite. It was his first time in a game since suffering cardiac arrest a month ago. The last time the Bills and Bengals played. The crowd gave him a standing ovation when it was announced he was in the building. Hamlin's doctors say he still has a long recovery ahead of him, but it's a good step forward. Unfortunately, his Bills didn't win the game, losing to the Bengals 27-10.